Very good morning, dear students. In the last session, we discussed about the brief introduction of the second chapter, Consumer Behavior Theory. And this chapter includes very interesting points, as we all know that. And the first part is already discussed. That is the concept of utility, the meaning of utility. What is utility? Utility is the want satisfying power of a commodity. And what are the interesting characteristics of utility? Utility does not mean satisfaction. It does not mean usefulness. No ethical or moral consideration. It is subjective, differs from place to place, person to person, and time to time, and so on. And the remaining concepts are also very important approaches to study consumer behavior. There are two concepts. One is utility concept and another one is indifference curve concept. And the utility concept is also known as Cardinal concept. Indifference curve concept is known as Ordinal concept. Come to the point. The first one, Cardinal approach. Cardinal approach, the chief exponent of Cardinal approach is Marshall, and it involves the use of measurable, means cardinal concepts or utility like weight, height or temperature to study consumer behavior. According to this concept, utility is measurable in cardinal numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And these numbers can be added, subtracted, multiplied. Here, 1 utility is equivalent to 1 rupee and the utility of money remains constant. That means in our example, later on we will discuss. Then come to the next one, Ordinal utility approach. Modern economists like J.R. Hicks and R.G.D. Allen and others have supported this approach. This approach throws light on, that is, preferences. According to this approach, the ordinal utility is based on the fact that the utility of a commodity cannot be measured in absolute quantity. We cannot say that one apple gives, that is 10 units of satisfaction, or one orange gives, that is 20 units of satisfaction. But however, it will be possible for a consumer to tell subjectively whether the commodity derives more satisfaction or less satisfaction or equal satisfaction compared to other product. The modern economists discarded the concept of cardinal utility because according to them, utility cannot be measured in terms of cardinal numbers because utility being the psychological phenomena, we cannot measure it is in terms of quantitative elements. The modern economists, Hicks in a particular, have applied the concept to the study of consumer behavior, and so he introduced the tool known as indifference curve. And according to ordinal approach, utility cannot be measured, can only be compared, consumer is supposed to rank or order utility. Example, first, second, third, fourth, etc. In other words, only the preferences of a particular consumer for one type of good in comparison with another type of good is represented by utility. That means comparison is possible here. And ordinal approach, J.R. Hicks introduced a very interesting tool that to study indifference curve is the basic important element to study consumer behavior. Then what do you mean by indifference curve? Indifference curve, it refers to the locus of points which showing the different combinations on that curve of two substitutes which yield the same level of satisfaction and utility to the consumer. Throughout that curve, whatever may be the combination may be A or B or C or D. The satisfaction remains the same. So this is the very important concept. Later on we will discuss with the help of characteristics or beautiful diagrams. So the question arises, is there any difference between ordinal or cardinal approach? Yes, there is a difference between ordinal and cardinal approach. Example, meaning, the utility where user satisfaction of a commodity is evaluated by the preference but cannot be written in numbers. According to ordinal concept, utility cannot be measured or cannot be expressed in terms of numbers. On the other hand, cardinal approach. So, utility can be expressed in numerical units and can be measured in terms of numerical numbers. The second one, approach. Ordinal, which throw light on qualitative concept. Cardinal, which throw light on quantitative concept. And evaluation, ordinal approach which throw light on ranks, first, second, third, fourth, like this, and cardinal expressed in terms of utils. Then examination, ordinal concept studied the consumer behavior with the help of indifference curve analysis, and cardinal approach studied the consumer behavior in terms of marginal utility analysis. Then promoted by whom? Ordinal, that is promoted by modern economists, J.R. Hicks, R.G.D. Allen, etc. And cardinal concept promoted by neoclassical economists like Alfred Marshall. And come to the last one, realistic. Ordinal is more realistic in practical life and cardinal is less realistic in practical life. So these are the very interesting points related to cardinal approach and ordinal approach. On the basis of cardinal and ordinal approach, let us try to understand the other important aspects of this chapter, that is the theory of consumer behavior. These are the very interesting things which help us to know the next very important topics like total utility, marginal utility, average utility, then shape of the total utility curve, marginal utility curve, etc. Go through these all things. See you in the next session. Take care. Stay happy.